Hello everyone out there in YouTube world. This would be everyone's favorite Neko, Neko LLX. And I've got a brand new feature here. Well, might not be a feature, we'll just see. Depends on how popular it is. Anyway, moving on. Yesterday I was in the theater doing some, job hunting, and I saw a new movie. You might have heard of it. Little thing, from an actor-director combo you might know, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell. It was this little thing called Evil Dead. I believe it was a remake of a film from the 80s. Never seen it. Joking aside, I did see Evil Dead. Well, first off, this video is going to be full of tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of spoilers. So if you do not like spoilers, tune out now. If you don't mind spoilers and would like to have a little bit of info on the film, my thoughts, as well as a little bit of info on the actual movie-going world as it has evolved, then stay tuned. Now, a bit of warning. The last time I was actually in a movie theater, actually watching a movie, X-Men 3 was in theaters. So to actually give you a point of reference for the last time I've seen a movie. Been a while. Anyway, moving on. So, I know there's a bit of chatter on the interwebs that, oh my god, Ash is a girl. Ash is a girl. Well, that's a bit of a misnomer. First spoiler. Ash really isn't a girl. The character Mia, who in all the various shots and whatnot is shown without a hand, is, for the most part, the big bad of the film for the first hour and 45 minutes. She is the first one infected by the Deadites' powers, the one who's taunting all of the leads, and the one essentially orchestrating the infection of everyone else and their death. However, the Necronomicon Ex Morte, the Book of the Dead, has 3 ways you can cure someone of being a Deadite. 1. Dismemberment. 2. Fire. 3. Live burial. And, the other main character of the story is her brother, and for a good portion of the film, there's until they're trying to come up with reasonable explanations why all this crazy shit is happening. Eventually, they come to the obvious conclusion: this is sorcery. But at that point, he's basically got to resolve the fact that he's going to probably have to kill his sister, and he starts getting ready for that. They have her trapped in the basement. That he's putting lighter fluid, gasoline all over the place. He's about to light a match, and then he decides, for reasons that I will not spoil, to take a third option. Yes, I'm a TV Tropes fan. So he takes a third option, buries her, and since her heart technically stopped, and thus she was no longer possessed, he revives her through a defibrillator. And now she's cured, and it looks like there's going to be 3 survivors of the film: her brother, and the idiot who read the Necronomicon Ex Morte. Yes. Now, granted, the idiot who read the Necronomicon Ex Morte did suffer for it. He was the first to notice that things are going batshit crazy, and why. And he ends up suffering, a stab wound that nearly got his heart by his possessed girlfriend. He gets a needle just below the eye, roughly about there. You have to pull that out. He is shot with a nail gun. His hand is whacked with a crowbar. Yeah. This guy is definitely made of iron. If they need a new guy to play Iron Man, this guy could play the damn suit. He does succumb towards the end, but damn, did he take abuse. Anyway, it seems like we're going to have these 3 survivors, and then everything goes to crap, as this guy who's endured all this crap finally succumbs to the Deadites. He becomes the new big bad eel. Our brother character locks himself into the still flammable house, mind you, and lights it, and so all we have left is Mia. Unfortunately, the Necronomicon needs 5 sacrifices. in order to bring about the resurrection of ye unholiness. And I guess it's debatable whether or not the actual 5 happened. We have 3 female leads, one of which is our girl who was resurrected. So we have 2 female leads who were possessed and actually died possessed. We have 2 male leads. So that's 5 characters. The 2 male leads, well, one male lead died. The other one, the brother, never was possessed, but he did die. So, and then we have Mia, who is our Ash composite, so to speak, and she dies, but she also comes back. So where the 5 comes in might take a little bit of tinkering about to figuring out how it happened. Also because at the beginning of the film, before any of this happens, we get a sort of flashback of a previous resident of the house, and we have a mother whose daughter is possessed, and the daughter kills her, and then she is killed through fire, so she should have been purified, but she's the image that the devil takes when he returns. So we have those things to consider because that was never the 5, and then we had 4 here, so you have to kind of figure out how the 5 comes into play, because the devil definitely comes back. The prophecy comes true. It says in the Necronomicon Nex Morte, once 5 souls are sacrificed, it will rain blood, and the devil will pull himself out of the ground, literally. And he takes the image of the possessed deadite from the stinger at the beginning of the film, the cold open. And that's who Mia is essentially facing in the last 15 minutes. And that's where we get a lot of the Evil Dead stuff. I mean, there's tons of homages throughout it, you know, the chainsaw quick cuts and, you know, shotguns blasting off limbs or guns or whatever. We have all that fun stuff throughout it. And there's even an old car that's just like rusting, which I think might be a reference to Ash's car from the original. And even though it's technically a reboot, as a lot of people are claiming, I actually think it might be a sequel. Because anyone who's seen the Evil Dead trilogy would know that, barring, you know, the original director's cut, Ash makes it back to the present, but Deadites still exist. So one could presume that Ash has to have a final fight with the Deadites, and, you know, the book is still around. But, you know, given the way that the cottage is set up, and I'm sure that they're probably alluding to the fact that it's the previous ones from the cold open, but it very well could have been that was Ash's crew in that cabin. And then we move on to the cold open for the remake, and we move on to the movie proper. So I think they could all be actually sequential. One series. And, you know, you have the infamous cutting off of the hand. That's done a little bit differently. I won't spoil the details. Go watch the movie and enjoy it. Now, that's really what I'm going to say. It's a pretty good film. It's a pretty good remake. You know, I've seen a lot of movies and a lot of remakes, and they usually don't elicit a reaction from me. But, you know, this is Sam Raimi's work, so I think it's definitely worthwhile. Now, for those of you who are wondering, where the hell is Ash? Well, Ash has a small cameo. You're going to want to watch the entire credits, because there are 3 stingers in the credits. I won't spoil what they are, but there are 3. Well, maybe not, that's not the right word. There is a creative closing credits, which transitions to a second creative closing credits, which then transitions to the traditional black. So you have that to look forward to. One is actual, just like CGI, blood splatters, weapons, you know, just sort of close-up of, you know, the various blood and weapons and whatnot. Then it transitions to actual pages of Necronomicon. Then it transitions to black. Then towards the end, we actually get an audio clip from the original trilogy, and then we get the final stinger, which involves characters from the original series. And that's all I'll leave it at. Now, with that all out of the way, we're going to move on to the next portion of our video, which is going to deal with not the movie itself, but the theater experience. Now, I went to the Horizon. This is in Nevada. It's a casino, but they do have movies, and they had a matinee service, and they also do 3D movies. It's a very nice place. You know, it's not really what you would what I would expect going in from the concept of a casino. It's a traditional movie theater. It's just set within a casino. You know, it's got a nice big theater. I was lucky for some odd reason, because when I went in, there was literally only 3 of us in the entire movie theater. Me and 2 other people. And now here's where I want to get into the point about, because as everyone knows, obesity is a big problem in our country, isn't it? So, as part of my little movie-going experience, I decided to take home my quote-unquote props. This is a small drink. Let me move the camera back a bit.
Are you recording?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I want to talk.
This is a small drink. This is my head next to a small drink. This drink costs $5. This is small. This was a Pepsi. This is a large popcorn. This is my head inside a large popcorn. 1 second. This is my head inside a large popcorn. This was a little over $6. And it comes with a free refill. Yes. If obesity is a problem in our country, it's because of this. $6 plus a free refill. I got nothing else to say. That is my full review on the movie experience and Evil Dead. And for anyone wondering who the person in the background is, that's my roommate. She doesn't want to be on camera. Good night, every pony. And yes, I am a brony.